Hi, Astrid. Good evening.
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's good to know. Well, I was without connection, right? So that's the reason why I couldn't read your message before something happened with there's telecommunication, right? So we had problems with it, right? So I couldn't in either call, right? So that's the reason why I couldn't read your message. I had to wait, right? So we were supposed to start at 8:30. Okay, if I'm not wrong, I'm not sure what time is in your country. I guess 7:30, right? Astrid, can you listen to me? Hello.
Hi, teacher. Yes.
Okay. On Tuesday and Thursday, we stay have classes at 8:30, right?
Yes. And in Peru is 7:30.
Okay. All right. Yes. So just because I had problems with the internet, right? So we couldn't have classes at that hour, right? As we established. So okay. So now we're gonna start today's classes. So we stop and saw in either, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So today's lesson is gonna be about future time classes, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Once you can see it, please let me know. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna learn how to use future time classes. This is like it's not a new lesson, right? It's a mix of time tenses, right, that we can find in some situations, right? But the new part on this lesson is how to mix it and in what kind of situations can we use this conjugation, right? This combination of two time tenses. So let's listen the audio first.
Hi, it's Emily. You've made a lot of progress in this course so far, haven't you? And I'm sure you're going to learn a lot more before it's over. I hope you won't stop studying English after you finish this class. Before it's over and after you finish are future time clauses. Let's learn more about them.
Okay, after it's over, but after you finish, before it's over, are some examples of future time clauses, right? So as I told you, this is a combination between the future, between one time tense with another one, right? So this is very curious because we're going to learn a new structure, right? I mean, the names of each class are kind of weird, right? Because it's not like as the name as it worked, right? As it works. So let's listen the first point.
We often use a future time clause with a main clause to show the relationship between two future events. They show which event will happen first and which will happen next. Dean and Jackie are going to talk about you as soon as they get here. In the example, Dean and Jackie are going to talk about you is the main clause. As soon as they get here is the future time clause. Talia means that first, Dean and Jackie will get to the restaurant. Immediately after that, they'll talk about Nick.
Okay, so we're gonna say we know that we have a class, right? A class. This clause is a structure or it is formed with the subject and the verb. So this is the class, right? If I have a subject and I have a verb, this is a class, okay? So then once we know what is a class, okay, we have two clauses, okay? The first one is the future time clause. And then we are going to see, oh, is this the same color? Okay, and this is the main clause, okay? So we have two clauses, right? This, as you can see, we have the main clause and we have, sorry, the future time clause, okay? So we have one clause, two clauses, and one statement, and one complete statement, okay? All right, when are we gonna use this kind of structure to show the relationship between two future events? I'm talking about the future. We're gonna look for our timeline, right? And we have the first one, the first section, and then we have the second. As you can see, we have two actions that are gonna happen in the future, right? But one is gonna happen first, immediately it's gonna happen the second action, okay? Dean and Jackie are going to talk about you as soon as, it means immediately, right? They get here, sorry. They get here, okay? So let's learn the names of this class. The first class, right, that we're gonna find, okay. Yes, this first class is called main class. Main class. In the main class, we're gonna use the structure of the future time tense. Future time tense, okay? What else? We have two ways to speak about the future. The first one is using be going to. The second one is using will. Okay, so we're gonna see that in the main class, that is the first class. In this case, we are going to, right? So, okay, then we have the second structure, the second name of the sentence, right? Okay, and it is called, okay, it is called future time tense. Okay, in the future time tense, we're going to have the structure of the present simple. I know it sounds weird because of the name, right? I know, like, if I'm talking about the future, maybe we could have a will or be going to, but as I told you at the beginning, that's the weirdest part of this lesson, because we're not following the structure of the name, right? This second structure, this second clause, I mean, is called the future time clause. Okay, so Dean and Jackie are going to talk about the future, about you, sorry, is the main clause, the principal clause. As soon as they get here is a future time clause. So what does it mean? I'm going to have one action, the first action, and then I'm going to have the second action. In this case, can you identify which is the first action?
They get there here.
Okay, the first action is Dean and Jackie are going to talk about you. Immediately after that, they'll talk about Nick, right? No, sorry. the first section is Tina and Jack are going to talk about. First, they're gonna get there, okay? Then they're going to talk about you. So you're correct, you're right, okay? So as you can see, the first section is that they're gonna get there. Then immediately they're going to talk about you. Do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
Is there any question until this point?
Okay. In the future tense, I could use will or be going to, right?
In the future time?
Yes, future time.
No, in the future time, you only can use the present simple. Okay, let's check. Okay, this is the future time class. I know because of the name, maybe you could imagine, okay, if it's the future, I have to use be going
Or
to
maybe
or will. Okay, but no, you don't have to do it. Es por eso que decíamos, es una particular, es un poco extraño, porque por el nombre podemos imaginar que nos habla del futuro, entonces el futuro tengo be going to or will, pero no es la situación, ¿ok? Con el futuro, en el future time clause, únicamente tengo que utilizar el simple present, o present simple.
in
the main
the
clause?
main clause.
Yes.
Yes.
In the main clause, you are gonna use be going to or will, okay?
Okay, teacher.
All right, thank you. So let's continue with the second point.
The verb in the main clause is in the future with will or be going to. The verb in the time clause is in the present.
I'll cough when I see them.
I'll cough is the main clause. When I see them is the future time clause. Remember, we don't use will or be going to in a future time clause.
Okay, this is what you asked for, right? The verb in the main clause is in future, right? As I told you, you have two options. Be going to or you have will. Okay, in this case, we use will. And this is the main clause. Then in the future time clause, we're using simple present when I see them. We're using the simple present, okay? We don't use will or be going to in the future time clause, sorry. For example, this is the main clause, I'll call, right? When I'll see them, this is incorrect because of the rule. I only have to use the present simple, okay? Do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, can you identify which action happened first?
I see them, and then
Yes. Then?
I cooked.
Yes, that's the first action, right? When I see them, it's the first action. So once I see them, I'll cough, okay? So the first action is in the future time tense, okay? So do you have any question maybe?
No, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So let's continue with point number 3.
We often use when, after, and as soon as in a future time clause to introduce the event that will happen first.
Nick and Talia will go into Valentino's as soon as they put on their wigs.
In the example, Nick and Talia will first put on their wigs. Then they'll go into Valentino's.
Okay, so give me a second, please. So now we have time words, right? These time words are gonna help us to introduce the future time clause, right? I mean the event that will happen first, as we know. This is called the future time clause. This is the first action, okay? Then the main clause is the second action. So we have words like when, after, as soon as are called time words. So this is gonna help us to introduce the first action. As soon as they put on their rings, Nick and Talia will go into Valentino's, right? So so what is first? That they're gonna put their wigs. Oh, I read wings. It is wigs. So then Nick and Talia will go into Valentine. So this is the first action. You have the option to use when, after, as soon as. We have another one before, until, and by the time. But when, okay, we're gonna look then, okay? First, we're gonna talk about point number 3. So when you're gonna use when, after, and as soon as, it means that the first action is gonna be the future time clause, okay? So do you have any question about point number 3?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So now we have another time words that is gonna change the meaning, right, of the time words, right? What does it mean? That I'm gonna introduce the future time clause, the second event. So let's listen.
We often use before, until, and by the time in a future time clause to introduce the event that will happen second.
Talia and Nick will get the proof they need before they finish dinner.
In the example, Nick and Talia will get the proof. Then they'll finish dinner.
Okay, so these term words are gonna help us to introduce the second event. So Talia, we have before, until, by the time. Okay, so let's see, Talia and Nick will get the proof they need. So that's the first action before they finish dinner. So this is the second action. As you can see, we're using before to introduce, not the first action. Now it's the second one. So the time word that you're gonna use is gonna determine if your future time clause is gonna go first. I mean, it's gonna be the first action, it's gonna be the first event, or it's gonna be the second event that you're gonna talk about. Both of them are in the future, but one happened first and another action happened then later. So we have one earlier action and then we have one later action. So you have to know which time word you're gonna use in order to show which action is gonna happen first. So something that they have in common is they're gonna help. It is gonna help us to introduce the future time clause. So apart from if it's gonna be the second event or the first event, it is gonna help us to introduce the future time clause that it's important for. Then you have to determine, okay, which action is gonna happen first. So if I'm gonna use as soon as, it means like my future time clause is gonna happen first. And then my main clause is the second action. Or how about the first example, the second one, sorry. I'm using before to introduce the event that will happen second, later, okay? So in this case, as I'm using soon as, this is my first action. And the same happens with after and when. But if I'm gonna use before, until, or by the time, okay, it means like this is the second action, okay? Is everything clear?
Yes, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, and let's finish with the 2 last points.
We use while in a future time clause to introduce an event that will happen at the same time as another event.
While Dean and Jackie talk, Nick and Talia will listen to their conversation.
In the example, Dean and Jackie will talk. At the same time, Nick and Talia will listen.
Okay. We have the time word while. Okay. We're gonna use it to show. Well, as we know, all the time words are gonna help us to introduce the future time clause. But what is the difference, right? While is to introduce an event that will happen at the same time as another event. So I don't have the first action or I don't have the second action. No, both actions are going to happen at the same time. While Dean and Jackie talk, first action, Nick and Talia will listen to their conversation, first action. I don't have first action or I don't have second action, okay? I only have two actions that are gonna start at the same time. Dean and Jackie talk, and something that is important is that we place it at the beginning, right? Dean and Jackie talk while Nick and Talia will listen to their conversation. We can also place it at the middle, but it's up to you, right? But it's more common to place it at the beginning. While Dean and Jackie talk, Nick and Talia will listen to their conversation. And something that it's important is that if you're gonna place one of our time words at the beginning, because you can do it in writing, you have to use a comma, okay? Because this is actually working in the middle, it is working as a connector. So it is like a comma, right? There is no, we don't have the necessity to write again a comma, right? Only if you're gonna place it at the beginning, then once I finish in this case, the future time clause, we're gonna place the comma, and then we're gonna continue with the main clause. So until this point, we know that we're gonna use while to introduce, as we know, all the time words are gonna help us to introduce the future time clause. But while is to show that the two actions are gonna start at the same time, or almost at the same time, right? Did you get it?
Yes, teacher. But in the first sentence, I am going to use in present simple present.
This one?
Mhm.
Okay, again, this is the future time clause, okay? So we're using the structure of the present simple. The only thing that has changed in this example is the order, right? Then we have the time word. Okay, all the time words are, give me a second. Okay, all the time words are when, after, as soon as, before, until, by the time. Todas estas time words nos van a ayudar a introducir el future time clause. This future time clause has the structure of the present simple. They put, they finish, and they talk. Okay, so the only thing that is changing is the order. You can place it at the end, you can place at the beginning, there is no problem with it. Both options are okay. And all of them follow the same order, right? The same structure. I mean, the future time clause can come at the beginning or can go at the end. Did I solve your question? I'm not sure if it was your question.
Oh, in that case, I couldn't use the past continuous or the present continuous. Continuous present.
The present continuous?
Yes.
We're not using
Or,
present continuous.
For example, I was running when she arrived, maybe like that.
Okay, I was talking with my friend while he was eating food, something like that.
Yes.
Yes, yes, you can use it. Puedes utilizar también, right? You can use it, you can do it with the present continuous, but it means that it is happening right now. Right now, while I'm talking to you, you are having breakfast, dinner, okay? But it means right now. What is the difference? This is gonna happen in the future, not now, in the future, maybe tomorrow,
Okay.
right? That's the difference. But you can actually do it. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
All right. So let's continue and let's finish with number 6.
The future time clause can come at the beginning or end of the sentence. The meaning does not change. When the future time clause comes at the beginning of the sentence, we use a comma after it.
While you plant the mic, I'll look out for Dean and Jackie. I'll look out for Dean and Jackie while you plant the mic.
Both sentences have the same meaning.
Okay, that's what I told you a minute ago. The future time clause can come at the beginning or at the end while you plant the mic or while you plant the mic, okay? But the difference is the comma. And the difference is in writing, right? La única diferencia es en cuando escribimos. And we have to write a comma. If we're going to start with the future time clause, then we need a comma because this is working as a connector. So, but if we're going to write the future time clause at the end, and I'm going to start with the main clause, then it's unnecessary the use of comma, right? While you plan the mic, I'll look out for Dean and Jackie. So I have while. It means that this is the first action and this is the other first action. Both are happening at the same time or will happen at the same time, sorry, right? So that will be everything about the lesson of future time clauses, right? Something that you have to take care is what kind of time word you're going to use, right? If you want to, because finally all of them are to introduce the future time clause, but the difference is that if you're going to use some of them, it is like you have the first action, or if you're going to have or use some of this, it means like the second action. The only thing that you have to take care, and don't forget to follow the structure, because this is something, a lesson, is going to help us to talk about the future, maybe tomorrow, in 1 month, 1 week, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Do you get it? Any question maybe?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you, that's good to know. So, okay, now we're gonna practice. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we're gonna continue with the practice we have in person. So, okay, I'm gonna share my screen again. Once you can see it, please let me know. Can you see it? Can you see my screen, Astrid?
Yes, teacher, I
Okay, thank
can
you.
see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So can you please read the instruction?
Okay. And read on each dialogue, click on true if the sentence about the dialogue is true. Click on false if the sentence is false.
Okay, so number 1.
I'm going to be home late. No problem. I'll start dinner when you get home. Start dinner, then I will get home. False.
Okay. The second one.
This is delicious. You are going to be a great chef. by the time you graduate. Thanks, but I still have a lot to learn. And things Ben will be agreed to check before. False. False.
Okay, the third one.
What time is your interview, Valentino's tomorrow? 1 o'clock. I'm going to leave school as soon as my class ends. Ben isn't going to stay for the whole class. False.
Number 4.
Will they hire you before you finish school? I hope so. Ben wants to work and go to school at the same time. True.
Okay. The fifth one.
You don't really need the job. I'm going to work until you graduate. I know, but I want some experience and I will quit you. False.
Okay.
Let's invite Paul and Lee to dinner next week. Okay, I called in after we wash the dishes. Ben wants to call them first and then wash the falls.
Did you say false?
Mhm.
Okay.
And by the time we finish the dishes, they'll be asleep. You are right. I forgot we were eating so late. First, the friends will go to sleep. After that, true.
Okay.
I clean up while you call. Okay, thanks. And it's going to clean up at the same time. True. True.
Okay. So let's check. And what was it? All right. You only had one mistake, right? And let's check. Okay. This is delicious. You're going to be a great chef by the time, okay, you graduate. Okay. So if we have by the time, okay, okay. So the correct answer, the future time past with by the time introduces the event that will happen second. So Anna thinks Belle will be a great chef before his graduation. Okay, so that's false, right? Because that's the second action. This one, by the time you graduate, is the second action. By the time introduces the event that will happen second. Okay, do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
I'm sorry. So that's something that I told you, right? You have to take care at the moment. You're gonna choose the correct time word, right? So this is gonna help you to introduce which action is gonna happen first, okay? Because the order doesn't matter at all. You can place it at the future time past at the beginning or at the end, but something that is gonna determine if the action will happen first or second is the time words or the time words. Okay, do you get it?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. So let's continue with the second practice. And give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, yes, teacher.
Okay, please give me a second. Okay, okay, so can you please read the instructions?
Read each pair of sentences, rewrite them as one sentence with a future time clause. Type the sentence into the blank. Be sure to use a comma and capital letters if necessary.
Okay, so let's start. Number one.
Before okay, before before we
Oh. Before we
will hire the search chef.
Oh, we will.
Yes.
Don't forget that in the future time clause, how do I know if it's a future time clause? Because of the time word. In the future time clause, I only have to use the present simple, not the future. Okay?
Okay. Before we hire a dessert chef.
Comma. Mm-hmm.
We'll interview more people.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Number two.
They will no customers.
Customers. Customers.
Yeah.
So we are starting
Will
with the clause. Okay, will.
Want to try the new desserts? As soon as they see them.
Okay, thank you. Number three.
DiCaprio is going to be
Ready?
while he shoots his next movie here.
He shoots. He next movie here. Okay. How about number four? We're starting with the future time clause. Okay, so what do you think?
When people find out
Oh, sorry. When people find out. Okay, thank
the
you.
restaurant will get a lot of business.
Thank you. The restaurant will get a lot of business. How about number 5?
By the time the waiter brings the milk, the coffee will be cold.
Oh. Okay, thank you. And the last one?
After the waiter brings us more coffee, I ask for the check.
More coffee, comma.
I ask for the check.
I'll ask for the. Okay. Oh, the waiter brings us more coffee. I'll ask for more check. Okay, do you want to modify something? Okay, let's check. Let's check it. All right, everything was great. Thank you, Astrid. So is there any question maybe?
No, teacher.
Okay, can you please explain me, can you make a summarize about today's lesson? What did we learn today?
Okay, we talk about future time clauses. These sentences are or contain 2 parts, maybe.
But when
the
are we
main
gonna
clause, the main clause and the future time clause. And the future time clause, and I'm going to use my sentence in simple present. And in the main clause, I'm going to use my sentence in future, maybe with be going to or with will.
Okay. What else? How about the time words?
Okay, for example, I can use when, after, as soon as, in a future time clause. And then I can use before. Before, in, for example, in the main clause.
No, in the main clause, no. Okay, we have some time words, right? Tenemos ciertas palabras de tiempo, ¿ok? Independientemente de que sean, si nos van a ayudar a identificar si una acción ha empezado primero o segundo, son para introducir a los future time clauses. Acá tenemos before, estamos introduciendo al future time clause. ¿Cómo sé que es un future time clause? Por su estructura, tengo simple present. ¿Cómo sé si esto es un future time clause? Por el time word, ¿ok? El main clause no contiene ningún future time, perdón, el main clause no contiene ningún time word, ¿ok? Okay, so can you please try to do it again with the time words?
Okay. We often use when or after, as soon as in a future time clause. Okay. Or maybe before.
Okay. So okay, you explain me the structure and then, but when do we have to use the future time clause? I mean, when I have to use this whole structure to talk about what?
About actions that could happen or that will happen in the future. Maybe at the
Yes.
same time, or maybe immediately one action after other action.
Okay, yes, okay. The future time clause is gonna help us to talk about the future, but it is gonna show us which action or which event will happen first. In some cases, both actions are gonna happen at the same time, and we have to know the difference of these time words, right? So all the time words that we're gonna find are gonna help us to introduce the future time clause. In my main class, I'm not gonna find anything of the time words. For example, before, so it is introducing my future time clause. As soon as it is introducing the future time clause. How do I know if it is a time clause? Because of its structure, okay? Those are in simple present, okay? Do you get it now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, is there any question maybe about the lesson?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you, that's great. So because we finished the lesson, I'm gonna assign you the homework, right? So please give me a second. All right, so we're gonna have the whole week to do it, okay? Okay. Today is Tuesday, you're gonna have until Sunday, okay? At midnight. For the quiz, you're gonna have 59 minutes. You're gonna take care on your capitalization and punctuation, and you're gonna have the model answer, okay?
Okay.
Do you finish? Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Astrid. So, do you have maybe any question?
No, teacher, it's clear. And yes.
Okay, thank you. That's great. So I'm going to launch the poll. Can you please fill it? And that will be everything for today. Have a great night, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow at 9:30. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, at 8:30 for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Did you fill the poll?
Yes, teacher. Yes, it's done.
Okay. Okay, thank
See
you,
you
Astrid. So I'm gonna see you at 8:30 in your country, right?
Yes, teacher. 8.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
Astrid.